Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to presentation number 4. It is Omer Nazir from the Massey School of Business, and his presentation is Modern Slavery, Exploring Conditions of Exploitation in Brick Kilns of India. Please, a round of applause for Omer.
There are many problems faced with the world we live in today. Some of them are poverty and unfulfilled elementary needs, shortage of food and widespread hunger, unsustainability of our social and economic lives, and slavery and exploitation. When I say slavery, it rings a bell about our feudal pasts, and many of us here would think that the practices like slavery should have been superseded because of the economic and social reforms we have had. However, the reality is that slaves exist. International Labour Organization has reported that there are 30 million people living in this world who work as slaves or as bonded labor. And what's most striking about this is that 66% of that population works in one single industry. And that industry is concentrated to one part of the world, which is India. Incidentally, before coming here, I was a part of Independence Day celebrations of India. It's 15th of August today, and the country celebrates their Independence Day. Anyway, the industry is brick kilns. The brick kilns employ 20 million people who live in dire poverty. They are malnourished, marginalized, and subject to poor health conditions. Since the numbers are big and the conditions are bad, it has received quite a bit of focus from academics, from media, from activists. However, the focus of attention in academic literature or in activist discourse always has been the victims. In my study, instead of focusing on the victims, I would like to address slavery as a social and an organizational issue. The intention is to specify how exchange relations set up in slave industries assist exploitation and slavery as a structural and a political issue. And when I say exchange relations set up, I mean how is the value that is created on clay and by turning into a brick, put in by this little guy and his family, appropriated and distributed within the capitalist or the means of the production. So the research will proceed via ethnography, where I'll observe 3 main relations in slave industries. The 3 main relations are economic exchange, who gets what of the value that's produced. Second is power. That would be how is power and control exercised for slavery to assist. And the third one would be symbolic relations, which will include culture, maybe religious beliefs or the values that assist slavery as an institution. I'd like to use this research as an opportunity for myself to reflect on myself as a researcher and an activist to make this world a better place. Thank you.
And judges, yes, if we could just use that mic, that would be fantastic. Thanks, judges.
Thank you, Omer, for a stark reminder that we live in the comfort of emancipation, but it's not as real as we believe it to be. The troubling statistic, 30 million people are still enslaved and bonded in one way or another, is a dramatic statistic. However, your presentation did bring about some confidence that there are institutional reforms that might bring about the reset that's needed. So I thank you for the insight into how we might cure this.
Omer, thank you. We do tend to think about slavery as being something that belongs in the past, but you've reminded us this evening that it is an institution that is in fact gaining momentum, and the numbers are huge, the scale is overwhelming. I was really impressed, however, by the way in which you were locating an economic analysis and looking at demand and supply and the means of exchange within a cultural, social analysis and interpretation. So I really like the way in which you brought together those different disciplinary lenses, even though you're working within the economics framework, to tease out what is a phenomenal problem, but one that clearly has millions of people within its clutches. So thank you for tackling such a wicked problem. Thank you.
Omer Nazir, thank you very much.